Good morning and welcome to Thursday's Early Morning Intuitive Guidance. I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum, here with some words of wisdom for our day. Give us something to think about and talk about, share with other people, get more minds cogitating on this concept. So hope you're having a good week. And let us start with some tapping and some breath like usual. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. See if the next breath can be a little deeper. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And I can still feel the acrid smoke in the back of my throat from the Canadian wildfires, but apparently the jet stream is supposed to be changing a little bit of direction, and we're not supposed to be struggling with this much more. So that is good, but apologize in advance to those of you who get it next, because it's not fun. Good morning, Abigail. So let's take some more breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Letting your shoulders drop, wiggling your neck a little bit, listening to the grinding. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And one more for good measure. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And interestingly, today, my glasses are sticking, that's weird. Today, this card, we've had it before, but all kinds of new thoughts are popping into my head about this particular card. So we'll see how many of them have stayed in my head by the time I get around to actually talking about the card. But we'll give it a minute here for others to pop on, just so everybody knows we've got the Wild Offering deck in case you like to follow along with. Oh, looks like someone else has popped on, but your name isn't rolling, but glad you're here. Oh, Jonille. Good morning, Jonille. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad you are here. So we've got the Wild Offering deck by Tosha Silver, and the subtitle is 52 Cards to Give It All to God. Basically, the idea is turning it over. This is a great deck for those of you who are uber worriers. It's very helpful in terms of letting things go. And I think that's why this particular card today is stirring all of these additional thoughts that I don't recall having with this card. But and I also think that the work we've been doing lately has sort of expanded my thought process such that more related thoughts are likely to come. I think it's a more hospitable environment in there for new thoughts to land, as it were. So one more nice deep breath in. Let it go. And our card for today is loneliness. Loneliness. And so, what are your first thoughts when you see that word, loneliness? What are the first thoughts that pop into your head? Add them to the feed if you wish. For me, it has to do with our perspective, our thought process. We can be incredibly lonely by ourselves. We can be incredibly lonely in a huge group of people. Sometimes that can be the loneliest place. I was just reading a thing that was going around the internet on Janis Joplin going back to her Texas high school for a 10-year reunion, and how isolated she was, because when you're gifted like that, oftentimes you're an outlier. And she was, and they had been incredibly cruel to her in high school. Sadness, you feel sadness. Yeah, good morning, Angie, glad you're here. So in that crowd of people, she felt incredibly lonely and rejected. 2 months later, she was dead. Loneliness. We can also be alone and feel incredibly fulfilled. It's a mindset thing. It's very much a mindset thing. So where I believe is a healthy place for us all to arrive is in our physical world, having a mix of alone time and with others time, and in our inner world, choosing to frame, good morning, Mel, glad you're here, whatever our circumstances are, as what we need at that point in time. Here's the rub, and I haven't even read the card yet, but here are my thoughts. When we are alone, and feeling lonely, does that make us more likely or less likely to go out and find people? I think for me, it makes it less likely. I then get trapped in the inner world of, I'm alone, I'm so lonely, why am I so lonely? And it becomes like a state of being, and then I subconsciously maintain it. On the other hand, if I'm alone and I'm enjoying the aloneness, but I've had enough aloneness to meet my needs, I'd be far more inclined, I believe, to go find some people, to call somebody up and say, hey, do you want to go for a walk? You want to go get coffee? Etc., etc., or going someplace where there are a lot of people. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome. So what about for you? What are your thoughts on that? Do you see your ability to change your mindset about I'm alone versus I'm lonely? And literally, if it is I am lonely, being in the place of, there's a word I'm looking for, empowerment, duh, Bonnie, empowerment to change your circumstances, So, loneliness, let's take a breath and I'll read the card. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. And that can be so many things. That can be, I'm willing to stay with people, or I'm willing to stay in environments that aren't really good for me, don't serve me, whatever, but they prevent me from feeling lonely. And there are those people who believe misery with somebody is better than aloneness. May I embrace and love my solitude. And that's when kindred spirits can finally come. And I had a thought with regard to that piece also. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Loneliness tied to worthiness. Yes, yes. And when you're not feeling worthy, again, you're going to be less inclined to break the loneliness, right? So it may feel like an indirect step to you, but as you accept your inherent worth, you don't have to earn it. We are worthy simply because we exist. Simply because we're sentient beings, we have worth. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to earn it. All right? That's a hard concept for a lot of us to grasp, especially given in our, there's a word, capitalistic society, where we measure people based on what they do, what they earn, etc., etc., etc. So, as with yesterday's card, we want to, maybe it was a reading, I don't remember, but anyway, the gist of it was, we're setting a new tone, we're creating a new circumstance, a new environment, and as we create this, it's going to foster different things growing. It's like amending your soil. If you make it more acidic or more alkalinic, it's going to foster the growth of different things. Same for this. We want to change the zeitgeist. We want to change the energy within which all of us are growing, and make it more amenable to more of us growing. So let's step away from the You have to earn worthiness. That's garbage. That's absolute garbage. This last line, and that's when kindred spirits can finally come, when we embrace and love our solitude. And I want to say that that isn't some act of desperation. Oh, I have to get comfortable with being alone. Yes, and change the color of the hydrangeas. Absolutely so. I have to love being alone so that I can draw people to me. It's not that desperation thing. It's more of, I am comfortable being alone. I am comfortable being with people. I do things differently depending on whether I want alone time or I want people time. I may literally reach out and call somebody and say, hey, do you want to go get coffee, when I want people time. It's an empowering thing to make this shift. It is stepping out of victimhood. I am lonely and there's nothing I can do about it. That doesn't serve you. That doesn't serve you. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you feel good. I've been talking lately with quite a few people about, let me see if I can find the right words, how when we are attached to our phones, attached to our computer, attached to devices, the messages that are getting sent to us are of a certain type. And even if we curate the messages pretty darn carefully, there's still stuff that leaks through in terms of painting the picture for us of how we're supposed to be and what's good and what's bad. Buy this car and you'll have all kinds of friends. Eat this food and, your life is going to be amazing. Drink this beer and, blah, blah. Take this pill, yada, 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 yada. Right now, I believe, is a good time for many of us to be stepping away more and more from devices. There's that article I just was talking about yesterday, that basically scrolling is the new smoking. It's the new addiction. And it's not healthy for us. And it brings into our awareness a lot of propaganda that does not serve us. Here's what you need to be doing. Here's how you ought to be. Here's who's the latest group that's out. Let's all, turn our backs on them together. Blah, 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 blah. When you stop fearing your aloneness, you stop settling for less than you deserve. May I embrace and love my solitude. That's when kindred spirits can finally come. Because you're in a space of openness. You're in a space of receiving what's coming. And you're hopefully not being an open channel to whatever the powers that be want to fill you up with. Create the space for your own exploration. Who do you want to be? What's important to you? What do you want to explore? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Where do you find your stillness and your quiet? Where do you resonate the most with yourself? Those are some good questions to answer, right? I'm getting the hit. Got to show you the back of the card. Usually I show it to you at the beginning. Now I'm going to show it to you at the end. Ganesh, the overcomer of obstacles. Looks to me like he's in nature. Looks to me like he's chosen whatever it is he wants to eat. Looks like he's surrounded himself with beauty. Maybe we could take a page out of his playbook. So, what are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on loneliness versus aloneness? What are your thoughts on your ability to change your mind about how you perceive being alone? Yeah. Throw some ideas in the feed and let's see what we get, and I'll comment after the fact and we'll go from there. Have an awesome Thursday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. Bye-bye.